Today we're traveling back in time to build the most recommended gaming PC from 2014. And then we're gonna bring it back to the present to see how it handles modern AAA games. Assuming, of course, all the parts still work. You see, there's this website called PC Part Picker, which you may have heard of if you're in the PC building world. It's fantastic because it'll tell you which components are compatible with other parts of your build. But it also gives full build guides for entire PCs, which got me curious about the very first PC that was ever recommended on this website. And well, thanks to the Wayback machine, we can find that out. If we go ahead and paste in the build guide URL for PCPartPicker.com, we can see that the earliest we can possibly go back is right around mid-2014, specifically October 4th. So I guess a little later in 2014. And if we come here and look at the single snapshot that's available, oh, well, all of a sudden we have access to 4 recommended build guides, meaning these are the very first PCs ever recommended on PCPartPicker.com. And so let's go ahead and dive deeper into this $1,200 build. Hey Alexa, what's $1,200 from 2014 worth in today's dollars?
I'm not quite sure how to help.
Okay, I'm Googling it. $1,200 from 2014 in today's money. Somehow my default search engine got switched to Yahoo? Who approved that? Okay, so adjusting for inflation, this $1,200 build was actually around $1,600 today. And if we take a look at this build, we get an entire parts list, including an i5-4690K processor, a Z970 motherboard, a single stick of 8 gigabytes of RAM, ooh, and a GTX 980. Wouldn't it be cool if we could find each and every single one of these components and build it into a PC today? Let's see if we can make that happen. Oh, whoa. Oh, when transitions go wrong, gotta love it. Well, that's exactly what we have planned today. I went out and searched on eBay for all of the components on that list, and today we're gonna turn it into a PC and put it up against modern AAA gaming titles. So let's get to building. Now, 2014 would have been around the time that I was building my very first PCs, but none of them were quite as intense as this one at the time. Our CPU, the i5-4690K, which if we look at the actual build instructions, it says for our $1,200 build, we have selected the Intel i5-4690K as a processor. Unless you are building a workstation or enthusiast machine, this is the de facto standard for gaming builds at the moment, meaning we got the de facto CPU, circa 2014. Now, like I said, none of these are currently in production anymore, so we did have to turn to eBay to try to, get our hands on all these. So there is the off chance that these components don't work, but I'm choosing to trust the sellers that they sent us working components. All right, up next it says, to cool our i5-4690K while we overclock, we have selected the Phantix PHTC12DXBK. Now this one was actually really difficult to get my hands on, but as you'll see in a moment, oh baby, this is so janky. All right, remember what I was saying about eBay sellers? This shield is just completely falling off. But this is in fact that exact model of cooler, which I am very thrilled about, which means we're gonna be able to tell how well this CPU can be cooled with the actual cooling technology at that time. And I mean, this cooler does look pretty great on paper. We got 2 fans, a giant heatsink to help dissipate heat, and thankfully, hopefully, all the hardware necessary to install it into our motherboard. Oh yeah, look, we also got a little wrapper. Nice to find a candy wrapper inside of your PC products. Now, as we continue to follow the guide, to allow overclocking on the processor, we have chosen the ASRock Z970 Extreme 3 motherboard. This motherboard supports up to 32 gigs of memory, 6 SATA 6 gigabytes per second devices, multiple expansion cards, and crossfire or SLI options for future upgrades. I almost completely forgot that SLI was a thing. If you're unaware, that means putting multiple GPUs in your PC and having them work in tandem. Not very common today, but was a pretty big way to get extra performance out of your PC back in the day. All right, let's see if we have that motherboard here. Oh yeah, I'm still not sure where this goes. That's crazy. You love to see all the protection. You can really tell when a reseller of PC components takes their craft seriously by way of adding so much protection. And oh my gosh, this is in such fantastic condition. This looks brand new, unlike our CPU cooler, geez. Normally with these older LGA 1150 motherboards, you're gonna see a lot of wear and tear, and particularly a lot of dust, because they've probably been collecting it somewhere in someone's closet or PC. But I mean, this is looking nice. ASRock has really been growing on me recently, and I mean, you can kind of see the build quality. This is pretty solid from even back in 2014. Now, the cooler does have quite a bit of dust on it, but oh wait, there's a CPU in here. I'm pretty sure I did not order a CPU with this motherboard. Wait a minute. I'm checking. Maybe I made a mistake. This is what I bought. ASRock Z790 Extreme 3 LGA motherboard. That's what we have right here. So, I mean, that cooler is certainly there. There is no mention of an included CPU in the listing. We just got ourselves a free CPU. Oh, talk about hitting the eBay lottery. What? But now the question is, what CPU did we actually get? It's time to find out. You're not gonna believe this. Wait, are you serious? Okay, this is crazy. The CPU that came with this motherboard was none other than the i5-4690K, the exact one that we needed for this build. So now we just have an extra. What are the odds of that? What? Moving on. For this build and most machines outside the top-end enthusiast realm, we have opted to go with 8 gigabytes of DDR3 memory. This is probably one of the more telling signs of the age of this PC build, because nowadays you really can't get away with having even 16 gigabytes with modern AAA titles. I mean, you certainly can, but 32 is gonna help you get through the majority of games on the market today. And so the fact this PC recommends not only 8 gigabytes, but a single 8 gigabyte stick, it's kind of mind-blowing to me. But as you can see, a 1x8 DDR3 1600 memory from Team Elite, which we just so happened to got right off eBay. Let's go. Technically, this is the Elite Plus. I'm not sure if that matters, but the timings are all the same. And with that, I'm just gonna go ahead and install it into slot 2. Boom. How nice that we didn't have to install our CPU, because it already came with the exact one we needed. Although I am gonna uninstall the CPU cooler. Now we have a new Intel stock cooler to play with. Very fun. We can do experiments like this, tear it apart. This build will also incorporate an SSD with at least 128 gigs of space and a minimum 1 terabyte of mechanical storage at 7200 RPM. This is another telling sign of this build guide's age, because it recommends hard drives, which you hardly see in typical gaming PCs these days. With the advancements of NVMe's and honestly just flash memory in general, mechanical hard drives have been kind of pushed aside for NASes and, long-term storage. But all right, we got those as well. Although you never like to see a big X on the hard drive that you bought from eBay. That can't be bad, right? Okay, what next? With a $1,200 budget, we decided to go all out on the graphics card. NVIDIA has recently released their GeForce GTX 980, and we were able to squeeze one into this build. The 980 brings unparalleled performance, a lower power usage than previous generations cards, and delivers results at resolutions up to 4K. The idea of building a gaming PC that could handle 4K gaming back in 2014 is kind of mind-blowing. So I'd also have to assume that a monitor that can keep up with that in 2014 would be bonkers expensive. But oh my gosh, the design of these GTX cards are so iconic. I love this design. If I were to ever frame an NVIDIA card and put it up on my wall, it would have to be this blower style. It's so crisp. Also, despite the fact that 980 was $550 in 2014, I was able to get this one on eBay for 50 bucks, which is pretty cool if you ask me. Although we'll see about this whole 4K situation. But all right, our components will be installed inside of the NZXT S340 case. Clean design, unique cable management, and water cooling support. Believe it or not, this was actually the most expensive part of this retro PC build, which kind of makes sense because shipping a box this large, that's always gonna add, a few pretty bucks. But oh baby, was it worth it. The fact you can still find very specific old PC products on eBay makes me so happy. Oh my gosh, I forgot how glossy this was. You can see my reflection almost perfectly. This is the backside of the case. Look how glossy that is. That's crazy. Definitely, could be in much better condition, but the fact that we were able to grab one of these is pretty cool. Now, it does not have tempered glass. This is plastic, which you can see has led to a bunch of imperfections and scratches over the years. But honestly, this is in pretty good shape considering it's over a decade old. And finally, everything is powered by the EVGA 750 watt semi-modular power supply. This PSU makes cable management a breeze. Yeah, we'll see about that. I guarantee you I'll find a way to make it complicated. But all right, it's time to get to building. Now the final step is installing this GTX 980. Honestly, so far this build has been pretty seamless, which hopefully translates into it actually working, and working well. Although I will say I have not missed having to deal with SATA data and SATA power cables in a PC. I feel like after you get too used to using NVMe's, using the SATA cables is kind of a pain. But at least up until this point, big kudos to these eBay sellers, because every component has had everything it's needed. I've been particularly impressed with the case because it has every single screw that you could possibly need in the case, which I wouldn't really really expect from something that's over a decade old. Okay, now we just need to add the power. I also forgot how awkward it is to use these 6 pins and just have the other 2 dangling. I think I'm starting to realize that the reason I don't like cable management is because when I started building PCs in cases like this and with components like this, there was a lot more cables to deal with. Like in a more modern PC, you don't have to deal with 4 extra SATA cables, right? Like if you have a hard drive and an SSD, that's 4 extra cables. Whereas if you just have an NVMe, it gets rid of all of those. Let's be real, regardless of how many cables, I still hate cable management. But with that, our $1,200 PC build from 2014 is officially done in 2025. So let's see if it works. Moment of truth. I see fans, that's a good sign. Oh, we got a signal, let's go. Okay, so clearly Windows is not already installed on this hard drive or SSD, so we gotta do that real quick. Oh, I also love the green glow of these GTX cards. So cool. Oh, beautiful sight to see. We have Windows on here. Now we just need to download some AAA titles to see how this little beast actually functions in today's day and age. Now, importantly, as you can see, this PC doesn't meet the min requirements for Windows 11 because it does have a 4th gen Intel processor in here, and I'm pretty sure the requirements are like 8th gen. But that's not gonna stop us because we're just gonna test it on Windows 10. It also appears that while our CPU and memory are being accurately measured in Task Manager, our GPU is not. So I think we need to update our NVIDIA drivers as well for our little 980. And in case you're wondering, the total amount that I spent on this PC was $323.15. So let's keep that in mind when we're testing this against modern games, because relatively cheap computer, but very dated parts. But okay, it's time for the moment of truth. How does a PC recommended in 2014 hold up to gaming in 2025? We have a few games downloaded, some a little more intense than others, but we're gonna see how this operates. With the first test being if it can run them at all. So let's give it a shot. We'll go ahead and start simple with CS2. These fans are cranking out quite a bit of noise, but I think it's working. And to be fair, 2014 wasn't all that long ago, you know? All right, let's play some deathmatch. See how well we can do. Oh, let's go. I mean, we are floating between like 70 and 100 FPS. Anything over 60 right now is completely playable. You can take a look here. Things are a bit choppy, but I'm tossing that up to our connection as opposed to the actual PC. Oh yeah, let's go. All right, this is totally playable. Let's move on to a more demanding game, let's say. Let's give the finals a run. Well, one noticeable downside is how long it takes to launch games. I pressed this button like 5 minutes ago. We're still loading the finals, which I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt that maybe first time launch with the finals just takes a long time in general, but well, I don't know. Ah, okay. Well, we are getting a pop-up that says our current NVIDIA drivers for the 980 are below the minimum required. When I was finding drivers, I did the one that was recommended as most stable as opposed to newest, because especially for these older graphics cards, if you have something that works, well, sometimes that's better than just having like the latest drivers in general. But in this case, it's not letting us play the game without it. So, maybe we're totally fine. Ignore all that. Oh, all right, we are up and running with the finals. Let's see how it performs in game. For what it's worth, this is also a 1080p monitor, and it's not like a gaming monitor. So we're not trying to push out like 240 hertz or anything as well. Just a balmy 60. We are gonna let the shaders entirely preload though. Okay, we are in. And I can't see anything. Hoping it's supposed to be like that. Oh, that was sick. Honestly, I feel like this is running better than I expected it to. Granted, the settings are probably all entirely low. Whoa, you can kind of see here we're CPU bound in this game where our GPU is kind of just like riding 50% usage, but our CPU constant 100. And it's certainly not the most smooth experience in the world, but the fact it's as playable as it is solid.
Kill confirmed.
Uh-oh. Oh, it froze for a second. Thought we lost it. You can see here too, we're hitting around 50 FPS while playing this. And if we look at the settings, it defaulted to low on everything. And that's 50 FPS when nothing's really happening. If we have some explosions and stuff, it definitely drops a bit down to like 30s or so. So it gets on the verge of not really being all that playable. But as you can see, you can still play this game totally fine. Which means it's time to take it up a notch. Let's play one more game, Cyberpunk. Oh baby, it's running, let's go. And of course, let's go Corpo. All right, yeah, this is actually running a lot better than I thought it was going to. I mean, granted, we're still in like the intro, but 50 FPS, not too shabby, that's playable. So yeah, I mean, this is all good and well on a PC from 2014. But now what happens if we try to max out the graphics? Yeah, let's give that a shot. Because similar to the finals, this also just defaults to low. Let's bump it up to ultra. And wait, what did I think that was gonna blow up? This is actually running. Granted, at 20 FPS, so not well, but it is running. Oh, the motion blur. It's gonna make me throw up. How about the real test? Ray tracing. Let's go ahead and enable that. Oh, it's not letting us, I guess because we have a GTX card. I mean, the quality itself, not too bad. Yeah, in combat, we're getting around 30 FPS on Ultra, you know? So if we go ahead and switch this back down to low, I mean, we're getting 50, 60 FPS. Yeah, you can play these games on a PC from 2014. Kind of no problem, as long as you're willing to sacrifice the quality of the graphics of the games themselves, which, I don't know, that's totally reasonable, I think, if you're gaming on a PC like this. All right, let's finish this last guy. Boom, baby. So if you're comfortable playing on 1080p with lower quality graphics, well, yeah, who needs a new PC? Just build one from 2014. Or better yet, find one on Facebook Marketplace for really cheap and start gaming on that. And remember, this is with a single stick of RAM, so we're not even taking advantage of dual channel. Having the latest and greatest tech is not the only way to play video games. I'll catch you in the next one. I'm mryeester. Oh yeah.